Alright guys, the big day has finally arrived. Me and are finally meeting the girl that has been running through my mind for the last 7 months. I gotta look good. I gotta freaking meet her at this Korean restaurant tonight. I gotta get to her town in Alabama. But wait. I'm getting way too ahead of myself. We still need to go through Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Tennessee before we get to Alabama. So I'm gonna take you guys with me on this trip. Let's go do it. I gotta say guys, it feels weird being the only Asian person out here. I don't want to have to think about race all the time. I just end up doing it because it's just, I don't know, I just feel like it's just always on everyone's mind, so I end up thinking about how I'm the only Asian person here. But what probably makes me more different is the fact that I'm from California, not because I'm Asian. Hard not to think about it, but I don't know, it's all in my mind and I project. Anyways, let's go to Oklahoma. So I just made it to Oklahoma City. I am dead tired. All the fatigue just dumped in me once I got to the hotel, but I managed to get myself to the one place that will always give you energy. Whole Foods. Dun, dun, dun. So right now what we're gonna do is, I got this forbidden chicken teriyaki bowl. It's refrigerated, so it's cold. And they weren't giving away spoons and they weren't letting me use their microwave. So I'm about to eat this with my hands and it's gonna be cold. Road trip life. Let's get it. Oh, that's pretty good. Damn, Whole Foods is a jug. That's good. Let me use their stick, so we're gonna try and fish it out right now. Here's some rules for life, guys. If you're tired, there's no point in doing something if you're tired, because then it just doesn't feel good. So that's one. Don't ever multitask, because pretty much anything you do deserves all your attention and just your enjoyment of it. And if being tired, being distracted, just takes away from the enjoyment. But hey, this river is really beautiful, and I just hope to remember this. Oh man, Oklahoma City was pretty. It may have been one of the nicest cities I went through on my whole trip. And the interesting little thing too, when I was there, I stumbled upon a protest for Palestine when they were having the whole conflict with Israel recently. And it just surprised me because Oklahoma is a red state. But here we are in Oklahoma City and what I assumed to be mostly liberal protesters. And it just really showed me that like the divide between the rural area and the urban area is very strong. And sometimes I feel like that's one of the biggest determining factors if you're liberal or conservative. And yeah, it just showed me like a liberal city in a red state. Go figure. Alright guys, now we're on the move again. We're going to Little Rock, Arkansas. Honestly, Arkansas may have been the most undeveloped state I've ever been to. And the interesting part about that though is that it reminds me of Vietnam for that reason. It's because it's also just very green and luscious, and I don't know, I thought it was beautiful despite it being underdeveloped. But next came up Memphis, and if we're in Memphis, you know it was barbecue time. But I will say though, it was a letdown. Maybe it was just too overhyped. No, I felt like it was above decent. It was good, but I don't think it like really like bah. But then again, I had one spot, but it was a really famous spot. But it did show me though, America loves its meats, and I'm all for it because barbecue meat is delicious. Alright guys, so I gotta say, Mississippi really changed how I viewed the South. Because as I'm going into the South, as I'm going through all these rural areas, I am thinking Mississippi Burning. Yes, that movie. But when I pull into rural Mississippi, I'm like prepping myself. I gotta pour gas. So I'm just like prepping myself like, okay, this is like the first time I ever like really stopped in a rural area, and the gas station is just like super like local and dingy. Okay, alright, let's do this. For Mississippi, rural, let's go. As I'm walking to the gas station, literally the first thing that gets says to me is, "Hello, my friend," from this Indian man. I was like, hey. Just a huge smile on his face, and it just surprised me because he had this like Indian and Southern accent, and he was just so friendly and just got me thinking differently about what the South is. Because, yeah, like I said, guys, I expected things to be like Mississippi Burning. I expected the rural South to be racist, and I'm sure there's pockets where it is, but the American South, though, is just like any other place. And it made me realize that, like, probably people who go to Vietnam probably think it's gonna be like the Vietnam War, if that's all the kind of like media that they consume. And that's how I felt about the American South. All of the stuff that I've been consuming about the South is like KKK, racism, civil rights back in the day. And so I'm sure that's how people view Vietnam too, but I've been to Vietnam many times, and Vietnam is just like any other place. It's a city, it's rural, it's mix of people, all of that. It's just a normal place. Yeah, super friendly guy. Southern hospitality is a real thing. That's the other thing too. I just always had like people just be really friendly to me, especially in the rural areas. Like when you're just surrounded by less people, people are just friendlier to you. Alright guys, so it's the moment you all have been waiting for. Me and are finally meeting. I'm there, I'm in Auburn, Alabama, at the Korean restaurant waiting for her. And let me tell you, when we were in that restaurant, we were nervous. I remember just almost the whole time our hands were shaky, but we were trying not to show it. So we were trying to hide how shaky our hands were as we're using the chopsticks to eat our Korean food, just trying to hold it all in and play it cool. But it's just funny that we were both nervous to meet each other. Like the next few days that I had spent with her, there is nothing more I could have asked for. The whole time we were just very lovey-dovey with each other, always like touchy and cuddly and just kissing each other. And we did a lot of cool stuff together. You know, we rode bikes in Atlanta, we had a picnic on the grass, we went to Waffle House, it was amazing, and we had sex. And the other thing too is that she made me very comfortable talking about sex. You know, everything from our kinks to what we like to what feels good. And she made me feel like I didn't have to feel ashamed for any of those things. And she didn't make me feel ashamed for sometimes that I don't know what to do, or like I'm not always good at it. It was just so relieving, and it just made me so much more comfortable sexually. And I think that may have been one of her greatest gifts to me, and just the time I spent with her there as well. So all this amazing stuff happened between us. We're liking each other, we're really feeling each other. So then, what's next, Henry? What's gonna happen? Well guys, it's not a Cinderella story, because you guys see, so during this time I was there, I made it very apparent that I wanted something exclusive with her. But the thing is, she didn't want that. She wanted something open. And because of all the visualizations I was having, I was like, okay, so if I do want something exclusive with her, what's gonna have to happen for that to happen? And so I figured, okay, you're gonna have to compromise a bit here, Henry. You're gonna have to learn to be okay with having this open thing with her. And the whole time I was like, well, yeah, sure. What could go wrong? Well, I'm about to find that out when I come back to Alabama. And I'm gonna be spending 2 weeks in Alabama the next time I come around. But first, we need to head back to California. So let's pack up our bags. We're heading back home, and then we're gonna come back to Alabama, and this time we are flying. So until then, guys, I'll see you next time.